Rain lashed against the warped windows of the old farmhouse, each droplet tapping like skeletal fingers on the glass. Deep in rural Tennessee, 21-year-old Elijah sat cross-legged on the rotting floorboards of the attic, his back to the wall, knees drawn up to his chest. A single bulb flickered overhead, casting long, trembling shadows that danced across the walls like specters. The house belonged to his uncle and aunt, guardians in name only. Ever since his parents died in a fire when he was a baby, Elijah had lived under this roof, but it had never felt like home, more like a cage. The air in the house was always damp, heavy with mildew and something harder to name. It was as though the walls themselves were holding their breath. Tonight was supposed to be different.
He stared at the cracked screen of his phone. 11:43 p.m., August 23rd. 17 minutes until his birthday ended. His 21st year had arrived without fanfare. No cake, no candles, no phone calls. Just the dull ache in his bones and the gnawing sense that something was coming. He had always dreamed vivid, unsettling dreams. Visions of dark forests, whispering winds, and a figure cloaked in smoke and shadow. A monstrous being with a crown made not of gold, but of bone. He never spoke, but Elijah always woke up drenched in sweat, his heart thundering, the name etched in his mind like a burn, the king of dark ghosts. At first, he thought it was just trauma, residual pain from a childhood lost too soon. But the dreams grew sharper over time, more real. They weren't just dreams anymore. They were memories. Elijah rose slowly, stretching limbs stiff from hours of stillness. A rusted metal chest sat in the corner of the attic, half covered by an old sheet. He pulled the cloth away and opened the lid with shaking hands. Inside, the contents were familiar, too familiar. A black journal wrapped in leather, a shard of mirrored glass, its surface dark as ink, and a bundle of what looked like white feathers, stained at the tips with something that had long ago turned brown. He didn't remember putting them there. His breath caught as he picked up the journal. On the cover, burned in with precision, was the same symbol that haunted his dreams, a crown of thorns encircling an open eye. He opened it. The handwriting inside was not his, yet the words seemed to echo from his own thoughts. When the 21st veil falls, the hollow crown shall rise. You are the heir, the bearer of light and shadow. Your blood will awaken the gate. Suddenly, the bulb overhead popped, plunging the attic into darkness. Elijah dropped the journal, backing away as a cold gust blew through the cracks in the wood, extinguishing even the faint light from the hallway. And then he saw it. In the farthest corner, where no light had reached for years, a shape moved. A man, or something once human, crawled from the shadows. Its form shimmered, not solid but not ghostly either. Eyes burning like dying embers, teeth jagged and black. Its body seemed to pulse with a strange mist, writhing tendrils of smoke clinging to it like a funeral shroud. The king had come. Elijah stumbled backward, heart hammering in his chest. He reached for the shard of mirror. The creature flinched, hissing as if the mere presence of the object scorched its flesh. "You are not ready," it rasped, voice like ash sliding over stone. "But your blood remembers." The thing raised a hand, and a blinding white light erupted from its palm, not warm or divine, but searing, sharp, like a blade made of lightning. Elijah cried out, shielding his eyes. The afterimage burned into his vision. When he opened them again, the attic was empty. The bulb flickered back to life. The mirror shard lay by his feet, glowing faintly, and the journal was gone. Morning crept in like a lie, soft and slow, pretending nothing had changed. The sun filtered through dusty curtains, casting beams across the kitchen floor. But Elijah could feel it. Something was off. He moved mechanically, as if mimicking a version of himself from another life. There was no sign of Aunt Claire or Uncle Ross, just a cold, half-filled mug and a crumpled piece of paper on the counter. "Gone till dusk. Don't break anything." A chill climbed his spine when he turned the note over. On the back, in trembling, spidery script, were the words, "The gate is open now. Follow the path of crows." That wasn't Claire's handwriting, or Ross's. Elijah didn't hesitate. He ran upstairs, heart pounding. The shard of the mirror still lay on the floor, glowing faintly now, not with light, but with intent. When his fingers brushed it, the air cracked like thunder. The world buckled. In an instant, his room vanished. Elijah stood on a cracked stone path, winding through skeletal trees beneath a bruised, trembling sky. The air was foul, thick with the scent of decay, of something ancient stirring just below the surface. Ahead of him, a dozen crows watched from low branches. They didn't caw. Instead, they whispered, whispers in human tongues. He stepped forward, the crows flew, and he followed. Each step felt like falling into another layer of the dream. The forest thickened with black vines that writhed when touched. The trees leaned inward, suspicious. Even time here seemed to curl and blur, like heat rising from asphalt. Finally, the path opened to a clearing, and in its heart stood the tower. It was no ordinary structure, not made by hands. Black stone pulsed like wet muscle, its surface slick with a glistening mist. It rose endlessly, crowned by jagged spires that clawed at the gray heavens. The tower breathed. It was alive, and it waited. "Elijah," came the voice, not from the tower, behind him. He turned, and there he was, the king of dark ghosts. No longer a shrouded figure, now fully formed, a terror born of rot and sorrow. He wore a crown forged from teeth and broken swords, his face hidden behind a mask that shifted, a patchwork of crying eyes, fractured mouths, and skin that peeled like old wallpaper. His voice wasn't loud, yet it filled the world. "You have come, as was written." Elijah gripped the shard in his pocket. It vibrated, hot to the touch. His breath quickened. "Why me?" "Because you were born of the line that was hidden," the king said. "Hidden by the coward goddess, shielded by blood and hope." "You killed my parents." "I saved you," the king corrected. "I removed their burden. I gave you purpose." A howl tore through the clearing. From the base of the tower, shadows spilled, dozens of writhing, shrieking figures, hollow-eyed, chained, mouthless, specters in agony, souls peeled open and worn like cloaks. "They are my army," the king said, spreading his arms, "made from those who denied their fate. You will not deny yours." Elijah felt something ignite inside him. The shard pulsed. Light bled from his hand. And then the mirror piece melted, reshaping into a blade of glimmering blue and silver steel. It was light made solid. "You are not my king," Elijah whispered. The king of dark ghosts laughed. "Then fight me, and die as they did." The spirits surged. Elijah met them, blade raised. His body moved on instinct, guided by dreams he'd never understood until now. The sword hummed as it cut through air and ghost alike, cleaving silence and scream. One by one, they fell, dispersing into gray ash. But the king did not move. He watched, smiling. When Elijah stood alone again, panting, bleeding, surrounded by soot and cold silence, the king stepped forward. "You are strong. Good. You must be strong to wear this." With a wave, he summoned the crown. It floated toward Elijah, spinning, shimmering, made not of gold, but of agony. The closer it came, the more the voices returned. "You're one of us. You belong to the dark. Let him in." Elijah fell to his knees. Visions struck like lightning. His parents pleading, fire, black roots bursting through their chests. His own hands soaked in blood, a future rewritten in nightmare. And then, a woman's voice, gentle, calm. "You were not made to serve the dark, my son. You were born to end it." The goddess, his mother. With a cry, Elijah raised the blade high and drove it into the earth. A blast of light erupted, raw, white, cleansing. The tower shrieked. The crown cracked. The king screamed, but not in pain, in laughter. "You've only just begun," he said, melting into the dark. And then, silence. Elijah awoke on the floor of his bedroom, dusty, cold, alone. The shard of the mirror was gone, but a strange symbol was burned into the floor, a circle of crows with a sword at the center. His 21st birthday had come and gone, but something had changed, and the king was not gone. He was waiting.